Hello, everybody. It's Friday, it's midday, which means it's Wow Ergonomics with me, Graham Cave, and Stephen Howe.
Hello.
Stephen, how are you?
Good afternoon. I'm very well. Actually, as it's just past 12 o'clock, now I'm
Yes.
getting mixed up. I was going to talk about I was going to talk about it being after 12 o'clock and it didn't count, but that's April Fool's Day and not Friday the 13th. So I've completely gone down
Oh
the wrong
my
avenue there. I was
word.
just about to say it's all bets are off, but actually we've still got 12 hours of Friday the 13th, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Friday the 13th.
Yes.
And as I said in the preamble for
Mm-hmm.
today's show, before it went out, that's the reason why we have no guests today. Of course, if somebody still wants to turn up and come on, do let us know in the
Yep.
comments, and we'd be happy to have you here. But I can understand why, you know, being a 13th, some people might decide, no, I'm not going to risk it. I might break a leg or something.
Do you think there's some nervousness about joining us on this show on the Friday the 13th? Do you think people are a little bit sort of extra apprehensive?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's still an awful lot of
Minds.
superstitious.
I was going to say that was Elvis, wasn't it? Suspicious Minds.
Oh, we
Oh
can
God,
go
what have I
on
done?
together. Which version of that do you like best? Do you like? 'Cause this is
Okay.
controversial,
Yeah.
right? Do you like Elvis's version of that,
Okay.
which was kind of "We're calling a trip"? Yeah, or did you prefer the Fine Young Cannibals version? We're caught in a trap.
Would it be sacrilege to say I preferred the Fine Young Cannibals version?
No, I actually do.
Oh, okay.
I think it's much better
Mm.
because it's a bit faster as well. It's kind of
Yeah.
I just think it was really groovy.
Yeah. When you start singing, I'm sorry to say this, it always reminds me of Vic Reeves. Pub singer. I just can't get it out of my mind that it's like Graham's doing a Vic Reeves pub singer impression off. What was that?
Big Night Out.
No, other one.
Oh, Shooting Stars.
Shooting Stars. The old
Shooting Stars.
Dove from
All
above.
right.
Dove from above.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Ulrika.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Ulrika.
And then the rubbing
Yeah.
of the legs,
Yes.
which doesn't quite work in this size screen.
No. Nice attempt though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I loved that show. It was great. For anyone that doesn't remember Vic Reeves' Big Night Out, which actually obviously featured Bob Mortimer as well.
Yeah.
The pub singer was basically a character that they created where he used to sing songs of the time, but as a pub singer.
Yeah.
And then you had to kind of guess what the song was.
There was always the underlining. You could just about sort of hear the tune roughly, but it was the same sort of output that he was sort of coming out with, wasn't
it? Exactly. So you'd have something like, "Oh, I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty fear, get there with them." You know, and every song was kind of like that.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
What a show! What a show!
Was a
Didn't
show.
it finished? Then they brought it back again. Then it finished again, didn't it?
Yeah. It's yeah. Well, it's going a bit like this, really.
Lucas? Was it Matt Lucas?
Matt Lucas was actually, I think, there from the start.
He was the drummer, wasn't he?
On Shooting Stars, Matt Lucas was the drummer, but he was basically dressed as a big baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they kind of, a lot of it was to do with the camera work as well, because they kind of like zoomed in on him, and it's like boom, and they'd be right on his head, and you imagine Matt Lucas had a great head, and then back out again, and it was he did the kind of scores. It'd be like 12, something like that. It's just it was mad.
What a program that was. Was it? I want to say, was it like 9 o'clock on a Friday?
It was
9 o'clock on a Friday.
It was at the end of the week.
It's
just a good job, really, because otherwise, you would have wondered. You wouldn't have been in the right mindset, really, if it was been a Thursday night for that.
I think
Too much
maybe,
TV's too serious these days.
yeah, I think it was always even better to consume maybe after a couple of light beverages as well, sort of make it sort of even. You really got into it then, didn't you?
Can't give balls to a baby.
Yeah.
It's one of their sayings.
How did we get here? I can't. God knows.
Don't know.
Who
Anyway,
cares?
today's show, folks, is sponsored not only by Bakker Elkhuizen, but it's also sponsored specifically by Bakker Elkhuizen's new light,
Yes.
which Stephen Howe has in front of him right at this moment.
I am.
So,
Well, I am.
are you able to
adopting
actually
it.
bring it around? Are you actually able to manoeuvre?
Oh, hang on.
But for those that are watching on their car stereos, don't drink and drive, or don't drive
Just
and
can't quite bring it all the way round because of the.
there
you go. Look how dark I am.
bit.
We saw it a little bit, didn't we? So it's like a. Hang on a second.
Like you got the box, haven't you? You got the box.
Here's the box. Hang on. There's the box. And that's what it looks like. It's basically, and I think we've touched on it previously on this show, and we will get into it into a lot more detail. It is basically a two-purpose light.
Yeah.
So it's got like a small sort of eye that gives you the task light. So that's what sort of brightens up the working area. So the idea is, hopefully, as you can see today, that when you do things like Teams calls or podcasts or whatever, it actually creates quite a crisp image of you as an individual. And then the body of the light, which creates the ambient light, will change color throughout the day. And it's all to do with tying in with the body's natural circadian rhythm. You know, from when we all used to be outdoors.
I always get that word wrong. I always say cadence, but it's circadian.
Circadian rhythm, yeah. So it's all, we were all outdoors, and the ultimate problem is, and I think it's probably been sort of magnified or highlighted by what's gone on with COVID, people working from home, and people can have great setups. Excuse me. But actually, one of the biggest issues that tackles one of the biggest issues around tiredness is the light that people are working in. So it's unnatural top-down light. You imagine when you're in the office, it's top-down light. You think about it at home, the lights are positioned in certain places in your room and you can't move them around. So you're potentially working in light that really doesn't help. And it ties into the release of natural chemicals and endorphins in the body that basically addresses a lot of the tiredness that people experience at the end of a working day when they've worked in an environment with poor lighting, which generally you associate with people working from home.
Yep. Now, at some stage, Stephen is going to get one of these lights to me, and I'm going to try it with our son, who is 7 years old, who is currently going through the diagnosis process for ADHD and autism, because I believe it might actually really help.
Okay.
And I'm going to give genuine feedback as to whether it can actually help him sleep. He doesn't go to sleep well at all. So when we've been talking to experts about it, the experts about it, one of the things that people really don't understand is that when we say that we put our child to bed at 7 o'clock at night, and then we're still putting our child to bed at 10:30 at night, I am not joking. All right. And that's what it can be like when your brain is completely wired, and you just can't switch off. And it can be the tiniest little thing, like a piece of paper on a wall somewhere has moved an inch, and they will know, and it just can't settle. But there are things that can help. Apparently, weighted blankets can help.
Right.
But lights. Various lights can help as well. So it'd be really good to see whether that's the case, because that would be a great market.
We are going to get one. We are going to get one of these down to you, Graham, for you to road test. So I'm just like 2 or 3 days into it, getting used to it. I'd say I've really found the benefit. Don't know what it's like where you are at the moment, but it's pretty dark and rainy here. And actually, I found just lighting up the sort of the working environment, so the keyboard, the document slope area, and actually the screen as well, it just feels a lot crisper and a lot clearer to work in. So I guess, it'll take a bit of time with the whole piece around circadian rhythm with the light changing color throughout the day, but one of its two things, absolutely box ticked, definitely makes it a clearer environment to work in. And again, maybe a couple of tweaks I need to make. I think this is maybe a little bit bright, or just about okay, do you think, for this call? Look
No,
okay?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's okay. Have you been on to Gary from Snow Patrol?
No.
No. Well,
Should I have?
I think that needs to happen. Well, I
Okay.
just imagine that a really good kind of marketing campaign for this
Right.
is people with this light, and that great song from Snow Patrol, light up, light up. I think that would be great. I
Yeah.
think that would really do it. In fact, as I'm doing with one of my artists who I do social for at the moment,
Mm.
I think one of the things you ought to do is actually, because there's a lot of songs to do with light, is actually start a Bakker Elkhuizen playlist on Spotify
Okay.
with songs for the light. I think that would be good, and then people could add their favourite light up songs.
I was going to
Chris,
say there's someone else volunteering to road test it,
I'll be
Mr.
happy to
Barley.
roll chest it for you, Steve, said Chris Barley. Don't know why I did it in that accent, but there we go. Brad Burton, I feel like this setup needs a top quality chair to complete it. I'm sure we can sort you out. There you go.
That was because Brad put it. Brad was on the show about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we sent in some kit over, as we do with all our guests, and he absolutely loved it. I got a fantastic. Not had one of these. I had like a voice message through LinkedIn before, with him sort of waxing lyrical, and then he put this great add-on to this post and an image, and Chris, as I'd expect him to, picked up that maybe a nice chair would complement the other bits and pieces.
What I really liked about the Brad Burton post,
Mm.
not saying I haven't liked everybody else's posts
No.
that they've done where they've shown off their kit, and thank you to people like Sarah Bostock recently who's done a great post like that. But it was the fact that he actually stayed true to doing the post about what he wanted to post about, but segued it in. I love the segue.
Nice. Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
Subtle.
classy,
Subtle,
but quite impactful all at the same time. Got the other side of my board up at the moment.
Oh yeah,
today, in the background for all of you people watching on Spotify.
What's on there, Graham? What's the?
Well, that's a prescription for my son,
right?
Because he has to have lots of medication and stuff.
Okay.
And these are little photo magnets, right?
Nice.
That I won in McDonald's. You have to upload the photos and whatever, but,
right?
They don't work that well.
Was that a Friday night treat? Was it after a hard week, a McDonald's treat for the Coath household?
That's when I went up to see my son recently, and we went to a gig, and therefore there was no time to cook. Now I'm glad Gary Barlow is on,
and his brother Chris as well,
and his famous brother Chris. But I'm glad Chris Barlow, famous sort of brother in spirit of Gary Barlow, is on, because I wanted to mention his post on LinkedIn today. Have you seen it?
No. Do you want to throw it up, or?
Yeah, well,
not to throw it up. yeah, not that. I mean, I'm sure it was a fantastic post, but
I'll see if I can do that.
Mm.
That might take a little bit of jiggery pokery.
You're the man for the job, Graham. Come on.
I'll see if I can do it. Chris Barlow. For all of those who are listening, I'm just typing into LinkedIn whilst so this requires mental concentration, as well as there we are. Right, I have got this up on the screen, so okay. I'll see if I can now share screen so that you can all see this wonderfulness. But it was really, really quite impactful. I wasn't expecting it to be as impactful as it was, but it really was. Here we are. I'll add this.
Here we go.
Add this to the screen. Oh, we don't want it like that.
No.
No, because that makes you all feel quite seasick. Let's
Yeah.
see if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it as a separate tab. Hold on. Stop screen. Present.
Every day's a school day here, Graham, isn't it?
Oh, it's marvelous. It's absolutely marvelous. I think it's this one. Here we are. This is what I meant to do.
Looks better.
Okay,
There we
so
go.
this was
Yes.
and for all of you people out there that wonder how you write a really good post on LinkedIn, just writing one word, powerful, like that, and then the hashtag you are not alone. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's absolutely it. But it's this video from
It's from Norwich. I've seen this. It's been around for a couple of days this week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share all of it with you, but yeah,
No.
it's basically this video.
How you doing? You good? Oh, sorry, thank you. How you doing? God, it's exciting, isn't it?
From Norwich City, and you really do
Yeah.
need to watch it and watch all the way to the end. But for anyone that has watched it all the way to the end,
very good.
Yeah, very good. And really, I think kind of made the whole point about World Mental Health Day, which and it's Mental Health Awareness Week, isn't it? This week as well.
It is. One of my sons has gone in with yellow socks today. They were all being challenged to wear something yellow. So, well, actually, he went in with one yellow, one black. He didn't quite have the nerve to go double yellow because it was PE. So he's gone with one yellow, one black on today. So,
but it's really important, and it's so important that just going to throw that out there as well. It's really important that men talk about mental health. I think we're beginning to get that to understand that, but a bit like, and I'm not saying it's in the same remit at all, but a bit like the way that we have to talk about laptop risers and laptop stands and cables and whatever again and again and again. I don't think we can ever say it enough that men have to talk about their mental health.
Yeah.
Because we're a bit obstinate, men.
I still think there's still, rightly or wrongly, this sort of image that men
Stiff
like
upper
to
lip.
project.
Boys don't cry.
Yeah, I still think there's a bit of, and as you say, it's just being chipped away. But I think those people who've been used to being that way for longer, for them, it naturally, like any sort of habit, takes a little bit longer, doesn't it, to sort of overcome and just feel a little bit more comfortable.
I think it's I think it's fairly obvious, really, that it's only a generation back in a way that men didn't talk about things. So it's going to take a while, isn't it? We just have to have a whole generation where talking about your feelings is more acceptable, and then their children will think it's more acceptable, and then it will start to happen. But my dad wouldn't have ever talked about he still doesn't, he trying to get a hug out of my dad, it's always like
yeah we
right,
are in
white son.
Yeah we are sort of that sort of generation that's we're sort of that transitional generation, aren't we? Where it will become naturally easier in generations to come, and our generation will get there, but there's going to be a lot of hard work. And the previous generation, the reality is it might be just not be something that they can adjust to. That generation older than us, it might just be that we're in that process that's moving from one through to another.
When you were at school and you did sports, did you get that from your sports teachers, etc.? So like if you fell over, or when you were doing the cross country, or you got hit by a ball when you were playing hockey or whatever and it nearly broke your leg in two, did you get that, like, stop whinging about it, boy, get on? Did you get that still?
Yeah, I think we all did. I think we all got that. That was just the way it was, wasn't it? It was all about showing. It was not wanting to show weakness and portray some sort of mental and physical toughness, even if that wasn't how you were actually feeling.
Yeah. sometimes wonder whether it's gone too far the other way. I don't know. I
Yeah.
do wonder whether it's gone too far the other day. I mean, it's like when I go and watch Sports Day now at school, right? And, right at the start, the teachers go, now, it's not about winning. Okay. But then you still say that someone's come first. And I feel that sometimes it's really confusing messaging in there for the children. And naturally, I think that actually we are quite competitive beings anyway. So I think that's quite difficult because I know my kids have come back to me and gone, well, I didn't win, right? Even though none of the narrative has been about winning, it's like they've still said that these people won, but they said none of it's about winning. And I think you've either got to be really clear in that narrative and go, actually, today's not a sports day. It's a fun day and we're doing fun stuff that's active. Or it's sports. And actually, there's an element to sports, which means that there's a winner and there's a loser. I just don't know whether you can marry it,
Yeah. Fun enough, we're currently watching a program. Have you watched Motherland? Have you seen that?
No.
You've heard of it?
I've heard of it, yeah.
We're watching that on Netflix at the moment, and it reminds me of this great episode we've just watched where it's about Sports Day, and it is that non-competitive Sports Day, and the one mom in it gets called out over the megaphone because she cheered a child. She cheered her own child in this race, and she almost got shamed. Like the megaphone, the announcement comes out, and I think she got kicked out of Sports Day because she cheered her own and I guess it was just a whole big sort of mock reflection of, actually, look how stupid it is when you don't have an element of competition. For me, there has to be an element about winning, but not all about winning. You have to strive, because if you have something where there's a winning, yes, someone has to come last, but if that person who come last improves their performance because of the competition element, it has a relevancy. When you only focus on the winning and only focus on rewarding the winners of a race, that's where it sort of loses it. It's that balance in between, isn't it? It's that it's got to have some, because life is about competition, but it does, but it's impossible for everyone to win. That doesn't, if they've got a race of 8 people, only one person can win. That doesn't invalidate the performance and the effort of the other 7 people, which should be celebrated.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have with it, in a way, is that they do they do this sports day, and then at the end of it, there's a winning team, and the winning team are part of a winning house, and they win a cup at the end and everybody else loses, and so the message gets a little bit mixed, because they are saying, well, it's all about the taking part and whatever. I think that's the weak sentence in there now. It's all about the taking part, because I don't think that's consolidation for anybody. It's all about the taking part.
It's doing your best, not taking part.
It's
your best.
It's doing your best. Well, it's all about the journey. See, if you look across something like LinkedIn now, people are talking about it's all about it's all about how far you've come, which is right. But maybe we need to, and I'm going to bring this around to ergonomics in a minute, which is great. But it's all about that journey, and maybe that's where we just need to get that narrative more, in all areas of life. Coming back to ergonomics, maybe that's where the ergonomics sector have kind of not done so well in the past, where actually perhaps we've been a bit too kind of like, you either win or you lose.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, you've either got this right or you're doing it wrong. Whereas actually, maybe what we need to do is we need to focus a little bit more on where are you in your journey towards getting this, towards better well-being for you and your team.
And
'Cause that's-
recognizing how far, where you've come.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have come, it sort of reminds me a little bit of a story. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about getting screens at the right height, and they sort of jokingly said, "But I just put it on a load of books." And I said, "Well, that's fine.
Exactly
okay.
that.
Is it ideal? No. Can you stick a load of books in your laptop bag and carry them and set them up in a cafe? No, you can't. However, what you've done for that circumstance is great. Hats off. You've done something. You've identified an issue. You've done something about it. Is it perfect? No, it isn't. But you have come from the journey of here to here. You've got a bit further to go, but you have made a big step in recognizing what needs to be done and coming up with some sort of solution for it."
Yeah. I'm going to give a great example here, which was remember going to see one particular person in an office, and they immediately showed me that they sat like this. Hi, folks. That's how they sat all of the time, right? And they were expecting me to say, "Sit up." In other words, you can't sit like that because that's going to damage your spine, etc. But I could see they were just trying to create an issue there. And so rather than that, I asked them the question. I said, "Why are you sat like that?"
Yeah, I was thinking in my head, that's the question you're going to ask.
Yeah. Why? That's fine. You choose to sit like that, but why are you sat like that? And said it in a way that, wasn't condescending, but was asking them to genuinely explain what, tell me why is it you sit like that? Because that's interesting that you choose to sit like that. Explain what is it that you've read, what kind of science have you got behind that, or what comfort do you achieve by sitting like that? And they said to me, "Well, I find that's much more comfortable on my lower back." And they'd read, which was true. There'd been a recent article in the Times about a load of radiographers that had done this study where they'd looked at the compression on the lower spine at different angles, and it was shown that I think it's somewhere like 132 degrees is the optimum tilt of the spine from the pelvis, where actually there's less pressure on the lower spine. So 90 degrees is not the kind of optimum. And so based on this is why they were reclining back in the chair. And I said, "Yeah, no, that's all very good." But then I said, "So let's then go on to look at how that then impacts in terms of the rest of your workstation." And I said that because the problem with that is that because most workstations are flat, and that in itself is a problem.
Yeah.
Because most workstations are flat to stop all of the computer equipment coming off. But that means you're now overreaching or overextending from your upper limbs, and your shoulders are going up, and then you've got compression on the the cervical spine or whatever, in order to be able to type, right? Because your monitor's there and you're doing that. Yeah. And then once we started talking it through, they said, "Well, how do I stop that happening when I'm like that?" And that's when you then come to, maybe a dynamic posture where you can actually move between there and here and have some flex in that is actually better. If you talk it through with somebody and explain and actually put into perspective all of the different elements of what they're trying to do, and whereby one thing might actually cause another problem, then they understand. But I think you're right. I think too often some people in the ergonomics field have been like, "Well, why are you doing that?" Surely it'd be better if you had this. Surely it would be better if you had that. Andrew said, "Angle of view, hands and eyes drive your posture." Common conversation. So you've had that conversation. Andrew's had that conversation quite a lot. Gary Barlow said,
Yeah.
haha, you'd hate to see how I'm sitting right now, Graham. Feet up and the keyboard on my lap. Perfect podcasting listening position. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You see, that comes back to my whole conversation that we had the other week about time being a really important ergonomic principle. How long you do something for is important as well.
If Chris does that for the duration of this program, it's not going to have a massive issue long term. He's found a comfortable position for that piece of activity and that work. If he sits there for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 odd weeks a year, then he's going to have a problem.
Exactly. And it depends what you're doing work-wise whilst you're doing that. It sometimes you think about when people say, I mean, we had it the other week, didn't we, with Beth when she came on saying, I don't work like this, I normally work on the same. But the thing is that, if it then impacts, where you can actually put things, and then you're overstretching to do this, or it means that constantly you're looking down here because you're working off a laptop and it's literally there, not here at all, because you're not working off a desk. You just got to think about it and go, actually, my bum might be comfortable, my lower back might be comfortable laid out on the sofa, but actually my neck is going to hurt. Yeah. And so doing it all day, you're not going to benefit long term. You are going to develop neck problems. Your lower back might be absolutely fine, sitting on the sofa all day. It might be, it might not. It really depends on how much activity, how often you get up and down, what other things you're doing. There is no simple equation to any of this where you go, but equally so, that's why those old diagrams that some people used to have of somebody sat at right angles with the correct posture are dangerous, because it's not a correct posture. It's a reference posture for how you can measure to make sure that you are sat correctly at a piece of equipment. There we are. We've put the worlds to rights already. But interesting to hear from, and please do continue to comment if you're in the ergonomic sector and you're listening to this now. Are we too quick to kind of rush in with like, you need to do it that way, you need to do this, or should we be celebrating a little bit more the efforts that people have put to try and get it right in the first place?
I had this image when you started describing that of someone sort of going in with a clipboard and a pen and looking at them and tut and big, you know what I mean? Almost that sort of old school way of doing it. Like you say, you were quite right what you did. You opened up the conversation to understand why it was done. But how many people are going in and just going, no, shouldn't be sitting like this? So it's there are multiple ways to address these things. And this is why when we talk around anything about what in our field, we talk about adjustability, don't we? We talk about the ability for things to move around different people and different actions and part of their job. So somebody might, if they're doing different things, they might adjust, whether it's the chair or the desk or whatever. Adjustability is really, really important, isn't it? If I know that what's the best postures, or is the next posture, or things like that, aren't there? There's talk around just that constant desire to move. Alison Thompson often talks about her little sort of wiggle breaks and things like that. It's that constant movement that's really important, not getting stuck in the same posture all day long.
Now I'm going to pick up on Andrew's point here, because he's right, but he's not. And the reason being is because what Andrew's saying here is, yes, comments on photos on social media, of which I am guilty of doing this. Right?
And me.
And you. It's a snapshot of moment in time, not necessarily what happens throughout the day. I agree. So when you see somebody using a laptop at a table and they're looking down or whatever, without said laptop stand or, raising it up, obviously we all know that one of the reasons they're doing that is because they want to look great. And they're actually, the focus of that photograph is not on trying to show that they're using a laptop particularly. It's really kind of, look at me.
Yeah.
Aren't I brilliant? You know, which is fine. We kind of all get that. The reason that I like to call certain people out on it is because if those people, as part of their rhetoric, are talking about health and well-being, are talking about the importance of staff well-being or team well-being as part of their company ethos, and then they continuously show people that they are willing to flaunt that, even if it is in those kind of photos. All I'm trying to point out to them is that to some extent, their values are not aligning in some of their brand messaging. So their brand messaging isn't in alignment, but also they have it's also to show them they have an opportunity here. That if those things are really important to them, that they can actually choose to show themselves doing something different. You know, and we've all got that opportunity, I believe, on social media. We've all got that opportunity to go, do you know what? I don't look as sexy in this photo by using a laptop stand and a keyboard and a mouse, maybe, but by showing me doing it, I am showing that this is important to me. And if we had more business leaders doing it, it would be so much easier for us to then get that message out to other people, because they would look at it and go, well, I respect, admire that person and what they say and what they do, and I want to do that, right? It's no different. It's no different from when, you know, you see adverts from, you know, world-class leaders, and they're wearing that special watch, you know, and everyone else goes, I want to watch like that. I mean, it's just, you know, unfortunately, that's the way marketing imagery works. It does. It kind of burns into one's senses and makes you think, I want to be like that person, right? Apple built their whole campaign around it when it came to the iPhone. We were all made to think, some of us have decided not since, but because it got too expensive. But we were, you know, the whole idea was you are an iPhone person. Yeah. It's not, you know, and it was actually trying to create a personality type, if you like, around someone that would use an iPhone. And if we could start to create to some extent, if we could start to create a personality type about you are the kind of person, successful person who actually puts well-being first, and we could have, you know, them using a good chair, using a laptop stand and a mouse or whatever, it would just make life a lot easier for everybody else trying to get that message across.
Now, if you'd like to see what a good chair and a good setup look like, shameless plug coming here. Andrew Shepherd's name has prompted me. If you want to come and have a look at some good setups and some good chairs, Bakker Elkhuizen, we're working in partnership with our friends at Flock at their Manchester showroom, and we have an open day that we'd like to invite people to. So anyone listening who would like to get involved, if you want to direct message me, we will send you all the details.
What's the date of that?
It is Thursday, the 9th of November at Flock, their brand new showroom up in Manchester. Fabulous showroom they've got up there. So we're partner up with Andrew from Flock, Laura from Ergotron, and obviously myself from Bakker. We're going to put some nice, there we go. Hey, very good. Thank you. Brilliant.
Thursday, yes, the 9th of
Thursday
November.
The 9th. I've seen Chris Barlow obviously commenting. He's coming as well. But yeah, just an opportunity for people to sort of...
Where can people get the information on that?
Where can they? Well, actually, we'd like them to direct message me and we'll share all the information with them. We have put a couple of posts on LinkedIn. There's something under the Bakker Elkhuizen LinkedIn page today if they want more information. Anthony Hilton will be doing a talk in the afternoon. Nibbles, drink, and obviously the opportunity to come and have a look at some great kit as well. And obviously to interact with such industry experts like me and Andrew and whoever else, Chris Barlow, whoever else will turn up. Guy Osmond's coming as well. So, yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I knew I'd crowbar it in somewhere, and I just thought, whatever, we'll just stick it in now.
So there you go. DM Stephen to get more info. And the date, again, for those people that couldn't remember, is Thursday, the 9th of November. So put it out in your diary now.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorted.
Professionally done. almost. Yeah, it was almost excellent, wasn't
And I think we did say in a couple of weeks' time we're going to get a couple of the other participants, Andrew and Laura. We're going to come on this show in a couple of weeks' time and have a party, a pre-party party, and we're going to let people know what it's all about, just to give them a bit more info as to what we will be doing on. I was going to say, pointing down there, it's gone. Thursday, the 9th of November.
Oh, hang on. I'll get it. I'll get it on the screen again if you like.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
Thursday the 9th. But so that it just kind of burns into the metadata in someone's head.
Absolutely.
As they're going along. There you are. Thursday the 9th of November. We could say it again. We could probably find out what other significant dates in history Thursday the 9th of November is, so that you can. There we go.
Should we have a quick look?
Yeah. Let's have a look. So just say if it's your birthday on Thursday 9th of November and you turn up, there may be a special thing for you.
It actually is the 313th day of the year.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. The 313th day of the year. That's every day's a special day of the year, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's the 313th. Doesn't really ring a lot of good bells, that does it?
There's something about the Berlin Wall, but I can't be bothered to read the article.
Right.
Something to do with the Berlin Wall on that day as well.
That would be more significant, wouldn't it? Really. But there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, get yourselves along to that. It's good to for people to go and see these things and understand a little bit more in real life as well.
That's sort of the idea behind it. We talk about it. We this show and people see things online, etc. But you can't beat. And this is one of the things we've sort of been robbed of a little bit during the COVID period. You can't beat going along, touching, feeling product, seeing how it works, and understanding the benefits. And that old, slightly sort of old school, isn't it really? But I think, yes, there is a place for online shopping and searching, but for things like this, you need to get out there and see what it's all about. So yeah, everyone is absolutely welcome. We think it's going to be a great day. We've already got a huge number of sign-ups for the day. Be a cracking session. So 2 till late, I think we're advertising it as.
Well, just taking it back to our previous conversation, that's why I think opening up the conversation by celebrating where people have already got to is a really good way of doing it, because if somebody has tried to raise up their laptop screen, for example, on a load of books, as you say, that does raise the screen to the right height. They've obviously recognised maybe the start of a pain or whatever, and then try to rectify it. But if you then celebrate that and go, well, do you know what? That's fantastic. So why have you done that? Oh yeah, because I was getting pain in my neck. That's brilliant, isn't it? Because now you've got, what you've achieved there is that you've brought up your screen to that height. If you then show them a laptop stand, go, well, if I show you this, what this will do is, in less space than all of those books will take up, we can now raise your laptop stand up. So that's good, isn't it? They're then going, okay, yeah, it does take a little bit less space, so that's good, etc. You go, well, okay, but actually continuing to type on the laptop keyboard when it's at that height now, that doesn't feel comfortable, does it? So it's better for your neck, but it's not. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Okay, so if we use a separate keyboard, and all you're doing is literally taking them through that journey. So you're taking them from where they are to the end of it. And that's why, I just think that's so much better.
Not as in, you must do this, you must do that. Talk about the journey, identify and praise what people have done because they've recognised it and addressed it, and just where possible, adding a little bit on top of what they've already done.
A palindrome, says Andrew. One of my favourite words, palindrome.
Remind me?
Yeah, a palindrome. I've completely forgotten off the top of my head what it is.
You just like the word. You don't know what it means.
I do. No, I do. It's like it reads the same backwards as forwards, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a word or whatever that reads backwards as forwards. Yeah.
Like aha.
Like aha. Yeah, like ABBA. They are.
Hang on, it's back in. Let's think of another band that's a palindrome.
There's a really good song by I see. Yes, 313 is a palindrome. There you go. Great.
The date.
Thank you,
313.
Andrew.
Yes. Super.
There we go. So we were a bit slow there, weren't we? So if you want to remember Thursday, the 9th of November,
forget that.
It's a palindrome day because it's day 313 in the year. Then you won't forget the date. And if you're going to forget the date, just go, I know it's a palindrome day, 313, Thursday 9th. It might just be easier to remember it's Thursday 9th of November.
Otherwise, they turn up on the 9th of July because that was 212 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's great song by They Might Be Giants called I Palindrome I, which is good. There we go. Just for anyone that wants a little music fact there. Stephen, what's the next week look like for you?
It looks like, what am I doing? Oh, gosh, it's like the Andrew Shepherd show, this, isn't it, really, to be honest? So next week, I've been kindly invited to Flock's London showroom for the reopening of their new London showroom down there. So I'll be heading down there on Thursday, the 19th of October. So a little trip down there to see what it's all about, have a look down there. So that'll be good to nip down to Clerkenwell, see what's happening down there.
Have you been promised any new experiences down there in the showroom? Are they going to reveal anything different down there?
I don't know. No idea. We'll find out.
Andrew, if you're watching, you don't have to say what.
Yeah.
You don't have to say what. But is there something in that showroom that's new,
a game changer,
exciting, different? Just let us know. Just so that we keep people's interest up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people might think that nothing ever happens in the world of ergonomics, or very, very slowly.
Lots happens in the world of ergonomics. So we just need to shout about it a bit more.
I think ergonomics is a really interesting area because, as I was writing early in the week on LinkedIn, it's got one foot in the past and one foot in the future all of the time, really, because if you think about it, there's the foot in the present and the past, in that actually some of the science doesn't really change much. Some of the science stays exactly the same because we're dealing with the human body, and actually in terms of some of the messaging that we talk about, as we've just talked about, we have to go over it again and again and again. And one reason for that is because we've got new generations coming in all of the time. It's one thing that I hadn't really kind of thought about fully until this week when I was writing about it, is that of course we have to keep going on about things like laptops, vans or whatever, because there's kids coming out of university, graduating, whatever. They've never worked before. They've never needed to perhaps work all day with a laptop before, though I do think that most use them for study now. And therefore, it's a new conversation, right, with a new group of people. I do think that will change over time as we start to perhaps need to have that conversation earlier with young people, because they are using tech at a younger age. And I think that means we need to see a shift in the sector towards perhaps educating students more than we have done in the past. My generation didn't really use computers at university, and it wasn't really until you got out into work that you use computers. But now they use them all the way through, so we should be starting with students. But then, one of the things that ergonomists also have to keep an eye on is where it's going. AI, VR, maybe sort of more wearable tech as well. Who knows? For the future, we might all be working in a very different way, and that creates challenges all of the time in terms of the way that people work. I think that the things that we've gone through of late, in terms of things like a move towards more hybrid working, or more people working from home, that's nothing compared with what we're going to face in the future, I think, around work. I think. Oh, here we go. Talking about new innovations.
Yeah.
Knew that someone would be there. There's a fantastic new innovation, says Chris Barlow, son of Gary, called the Unio, that we have been looking into recently. There are game-changing products coming out regularly. Also, a smartwatch that is a pointing device called the Feathertail. Unique and genius. We must get Gary, Chris, on to talk to us about some of these things very soon. Chris, I know you're very busy going around the universe, doing a grand job. But yeah, no, there is. I'm going to actually bookmark that particular little note from him.
Well, you said bookmark. I thought you meant Mark. You can say Mark Barlow. I was thinking, no, hang on a second, it's
Mark Barlow. No, I'm actually gonna take note of some of those things there. Unio, and what was the other one?
Feathertail. Sounds like something off Harry Potter, doesn't it?
Well, Unio sounds like a game that you play with cards, doesn't it? And Feathertail does sound like something.
It's like a type of wand you buy from what was that wand shop called in Harry Potter?
Yeah, exactly that.
Something. Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, but we'll look into those, and perhaps we'll bring some information on that next week. There are things coming out all of the time, but I think a lot of the innovation is going to change around how major sort of technology and how we work for the future. I'd love to get Mr. Musk on here sometime to discuss, implanting technology into brains and stuff like that, because
I'll just DM him after the show and see if he comes back.
I'll just see whether he might be busy with X or SpaceX or
Y
or Y or something else, or trying to find a name for another kid, because I bet some of those names that he uses actually, or him and Grimes come up with, must take them forever to come up with those wonderful names. It's been a great show. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for all of the contributions from the community again out there. If you've been watching this and you want to know more, or you'd like to come on a show and talk to us about the way that you work and maybe get some help and advice in terms of your own workplace or setup as well, we'd love to have you on as a guest. Do not forget, Thursday the 9th of November, find out a bit more by contacting Stephen directly on the LinkedIn, and he'll be happy to advise you as to how to get there, etc., etc. Until next time, look after yourselves. Don't work too hard, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 12 o'clock. Bye for now.
See you next week.